We're going to react to the Hard Knocks news here in just a moment, but here's what's also coming up on Chicago Bears Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Could the Bears trade for Matt Judon? That idea has been floated out there. Odunze is back at practice, and the rookies are balling. I think you know which two we're talking about. Rome is one of them. You can guess who the other one is. We'll talk about all of that and more, but we got to finish the deal in our May subscriber battle. Cowboys report, we got a healthy lead on them for the month of May, but they're lurking just enough if Downey and his minions make a push today and tomorrow. So let's put them to rest here. Hit that subscribe button. Free Bears coverage on a daily basis. And when news happens, we hit it in real time, like right now. Adam Schefter, just minutes ago, in the last half hour or so as we film this live, NFL and NFL Films have selected the Chicago Bears to serve as this year's team on Hard Knocks. Sources tell ESPN. First episode of Hard Knocks with the Bears is scheduled to air Thursday night, August 6th. That, of course, is 5 days after the Hall of Fame game against the Houston Texans. The Bears are the first team to be selected for Hard Knocks with the number one overall pick rookie quarterback since the Browns were featured in 2018 with Baker Mayfield. This news dropped right as we were about to go live here, so I'm just going to kind of react raw here, no graphics or anything. This is not surprising, number one. I think the other two teams that were eligible based on previous criteria were the Saints and Broncos. The Bears are a much better draw. One, they're a national brand. Two, they have a lot of hype right now with a guy like Caleb Williams. What's the Broncos draw? Sean Payton and Bo Nix. The Saints, Derek Carr, I'll pass. This is going to do huge numbers for HBO. Behind the curtain access to Caleb Williams, behind a Chicago Bears franchise that has historically been pretty private despite being a huge franchise. I think that is fascinating. You got this young, hot GM that I think the league is really starting to learn about the last 12 to 18 months, and Ryan Poles, who has really turned this roster around. Extra preseason game to use clips from as well, being in the Hall of Fame game. So I think this is going to be fascinating. I think this is going to be fun. We'll cover it in some regard here on the channel. Episode reactions. I don't know if we'll do anything live around it. That's obviously a couple months away, but I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be fun. And quite frankly, I think Hard Knocks in recent years has lacked a little juice. It kind of had a mini comeback last year with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, but I think this one has a chance to be really, really special and really, really entertaining. So if you're excited for Hard Knocks, type me down in the comment section down below. I know I am. Hopefully you guys are as well, as Hard Knocks should be a very, very entertaining watch for the Chicago Bears fans. And quite frankly, I think NFL fans as well. Could the Bears trade for Matt Judon? Bleacher Report proposed a few trade ideas that could happen after June 1st as teams could look to unload certain contracts. Judon to Chicago was an idea they threw out there. He is entering the final year of his current deal at 31 years old. He'll turn 32 during the season, so he's getting up there. And Patriots are kind of starting to rebuild, right? Like, they're young. They had a bunch of draft picks. They have a bunch of cap space moving forward. They could add a little bit more and get more draft capital if they were to move on from a guy like Matt Judon. Do they want to keep a guy into his low 30s and extend him into his mid-30s for a team that's probably not ready to win right now? I'm not sure. This kind of feels like what could be a win-win trade for both parties involved, and we'll get to a trade idea here in a little bit. But, again, New England could add a draft pick. Bears could bring in a win-now pass rusher that they need to go along with a guy like Montez Sweat. Judon, during his Patriots career in 38 games, has 32 sacks, so it's almost a sack per game. He's been one of the best pass rushers in recent years. Now, last year, he only played in 4 games before he had an injury, but he had 4 sacks in 4 games, so it's not like he's a guy who's slowing down. And, again, if you're Chicago, yes, you don't want to, continue to necessarily make these trades and have high money players, but A, Judon's not as expensive as you would think, and B, you just need another guy on this defensive line. We saw the impact Montez Sweat had once you brought him on board last year. Imagine adding another guy of his caliber as a pass rusher. You got 2 dudes on the edge that teams are going to want to double team from time to time. Javon Dexter, that probably makes his job a little easier entering a year 2 with a lot of expectations. He'll get more one-on-one looks if you were to add another big-time edge. I think a Judon plus Sweat edge duo would be elite. I think it'd be very, very good. Sweat, by the way, who's historically one of the best run-stopping edges, wouldn't feel as much pressure to just produce as a pass rusher. Like, I feel like he slightly, gave up his run-stopping ability to be more of that pass rush assassin with the Bears, which is what the Bears needed last year. But you bring in a guy like Matt Judon, who is one of the best rushers in the NFL, then not only do you have a great run-stopping edge, you have a great pass-rushing edge as well, which I think could really, really fit, and they could really, really work well together. Would you trade for Matt Judon? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'd certainly be open to it. I mean, obviously these things always come down to cost in terms of cap hit designation, which we'll get to in a sec, but also trade compensation. Y for yes and for no. Speaking of which, this is the trade I cooked up. Matt Judon in a 5th to the Bears for a 3rd to New England. And you might say, really only cost that much? Well, think about the Keenan Allen trade, right? Older guy, 31 years old, just like Keenan, turning 32 this year, just like Keenan Allen. Last year of his deal, young team, kind of rebuilding. The Chargers are more retooling because they have a franchise quarterback. Patriots just drafted Drake May, who they're hoping can become that. Maybe you have to chop off the 5th. I'd still be open to that, but I don't think Judon's fetching a 1st or a 2nd. I really, really don't. I don't think the Patriots would have a ton of leverage in this regard. And for the Bears, it'd be kind of a big-time type of move because his cap hit, if traded for any team taking him on, only $6.7 million this year. Bears can absorb that easily. They have just under $23 million right now. Once they sign Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze into their rookie deals, which hasn't happened yet, you're looking at about $13 million. So you'd still have $6-7 million to work with for the season. Plus, that number is going to go up a little bit just based on guys who don't make the roster. You'd be in plenty good shape if you had to make a move during the season. And I think the reason that trade you wouldn't have to go super over the top in terms of trade comp too is he's a potential rental. This would kind of be the Keenan Allen trade for the defense. You bring him in, you play out this year. I don't think you'd extend him right away. And you see how 2024 plays out. If he's awesome, sure, try to keep him on a 2 or 3 year extension. If he's just fine and you want to play the comp pick formula game in free agency and let him go, maybe get back a future 3rd or 4th, that's totally acceptable as well. But it would help your defense out. It's kind of the missing link on defense. You need one more pass rusher. But it's not like an all-in move either if it's the type of trade that I proposed. Coming up next, we'll get to OTAs. The media hasn't been at the first 2 practices today, but the Bears put out an interesting tweet. We got some leaks as well that we will dive into. Rome Odunze back from his injury. He and Caleb Williams combining for a big play at OTAs. We'll get to that in just a second. But speaking of Caleb Williams, speaking of Rome Odunze, got jerseys for both of them available. Chatsports.com/Caleb is where you can pick up a Caleb Williams jersey. Chatsports.com/Rome is where you can pick up a Rome Odunze jersey. It's all available. Those links will be in the comments and description of this episode. Click and shop today. Get yourself a brand new jersey. Let's get to Odunze first. He is back after missing the first week of OTAs with a hamstring injury. Remember, he missed second day of rookie minicamp due to a minor hamstring issue. Last week, Eberflus said that they thought he'd be able to ramp up this week for week 2 of OTAs, and that has been the case. This tweet leaked out a couple of days ago that Rome Odunze returned punts at OTAs on Tuesday, and it was like, okay, this is kind of in the rumor mill. The media doesn't have access to practice on that day. But this leak has more legs now. One, now it's like, well, he's at least practicing. So if he's back from that hamstring injury, that at least makes it possible to return punt. So that's certainly interesting, him as a potential punt return option. But more fun and more importantly, the Bears social media team put out a highlight from, I believe, yesterday's practice. And it's one that we hope to see for many years to come. Caleb Williams to Rome Odunze, deep ball down the right sideline for about a 35-yard touchdown. Odunze beat Tyreek Stevenson in one-on-one. Caleb dropped it into the bucket. It seems like these two guys are building chemistry pretty fast. They were training before the draft together. They seem to get along really well. They've become friends in a short amount of time. And the beauty of this is, like, that doesn't even need to be the top QB receiver pairing this year, or even the second. You've got DJ Moore. You've got Keenan Allen. Rome Odunze, is kind of given the rare kind of top 10 pick status of being able to ease into a team, into an offense. Like if he went to, I don't know, a team like New England, he'd be expected to be their top guy right away. But if he is an elite type of player as a rookie, I mean, think about the possibilities of what this offense could be this year. If Caleb and Rome hit the ground running and are better than expected as rookies, this offense could be really good, really fast. Like, you've got the pieces in play. If the quarterback at least holds his own as a rookie, which rookie QB play is all over the place year to year, the infrastructure's there. If he's 80% of what C.J. Stroud did last year, this offense is going to hum because you got weapons all over the place. Show the Rooks some love. Type 18 for Caleb Williams, 15 for Rome Odunze. Just a sneak peek of what the next decade could look like in Chicago, which is not something we're used to. We're used to, hard-hitting defense and stuff like that. And, oh, by the way, the defense is still pretty damn good. Reminder, Friday practice is open to the media, and I told you guys earlier this week I want to see Caleb and the offense perform in the open practice because otherwise we just have to, take the team's word for it when they thought, oh, yeah, the other day the offense was awesome. Well, I'd like to see it. I'd like, to see a tweet from Kevin Fishbane, who's there. Yep, Caleb and the offense is looking good today, so hopefully that happens tomorrow, obviously going up against a tough defense who should be ahead of the offense, but we'll see how it all plays out. Be sure to subscribe because we'll react to all of that tomorrow here on the channel. If you want more Bears news, rumors, and updates in real time, we're the channel for you. Like when Hard Knocks gets announced, we're live breaking it down. Hit that sub button.